bunch of people who give up. No, there's a lot of people who give up, but they generally all come back.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand the cycles and how difficult it is to deal with a cycle. So they're like, no, I think I made a mistake, and then they all come back. I've seen that.
Yeah, they'll be back when Bitcoin's $75,000. That's when they'll buy, right before we go to 45 on the way to 100, right? And that's the part of it that I kind of was so obsessed with, I think, from the beginning, and what made trading so interesting is exactly what you described. I don't think they necessarily, either they didn't really have the conviction in the first place, which I think is probably the case, but I mean, you can look at 2022. I think there's a lot of people who just got washed out by all these bankruptcies and failures that they just can't stomach having conviction when they don't have skin in the game.
In the upcoming bullish cycle of the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin and Ethereum are poised to achieve record-breaking highs, attracting a substantial influx of investors. Real Vision founder and macroeconomic investor Raoul Pal delves into this topic in his recent interview with Scott Melker, known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Raoul presents an intriguing perspective, suggesting that the widespread knowledge of cryptocurrency and the fear of missing out during market rallies could lead to an unprecedented surge of investors entering the space. Both Raoul and Scott believe that investors who have been sitting on the sidelines will only re-enter the market when it becomes unequivocally evident that a new cycle has begun. This further fuels the excitement. Raoul highlights Ethereum's diminishing supply resulting from increased staking, hinting that this cycle might diverge significantly from previous ones. Will Ethereum outperform other assets in terms of price and investment opportunities? However, we must not overlook Bitcoin, which Raoul refers to as schmuck insurance. It remains the go-to option for investors seeking protection against global instability. Stay tuned until the end of the video, where Raoul provides insights on the resilience of the crypto market, the untapped potential in decentralized finance, non-fungible tokens, and the metaverse. Additionally, he explains why both Scott and Raoul are highly bullish on Ethereum, considering it the most promising asset in the market, while emphasizing that many investors are missing out on clear opportunities.
Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your comment and observations in the comment section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
I assume, let's say, everybody in the United States, so let's call it the Western world, has heard of this. So the next time around the market's rallying and making new highs, you're going to suck in an extraordinary amount of people. This is what I don't think people yet understand. I've even been thinking through the issue actually with ETH. Not because I'm an ETH Maxio and plenty of other stuff, but ETH has a diminishing supply with more activity, and more people stake it, so it's not available in the market. And we're probably going to have a big whoosh as you bring in all of these people who've heard about it. I'm like, this sounds like we could have a very different cycle this time around. I don't know, I'm not going to make predictions because I'm bored of being attacked online, but you know what I mean? It just feels like there's a lot of people who could come into this space and come back into this.
Ethereum to $1 million by July. No, yeah.
You heard it here
you
first.
Heard it here first.
I'm putting on Twitter.
So I just gave you a title for this entire segment. I know how that works. I 100% agree. I'm extremely bullish on Ethereum. I think that...
but the same for Bitcoin. Same for it all,
same,
really.
Same. I think that argument is same for all of them. Ethereum specifically, I think the merge hit in the depths of a bear market, and I think it just didn't resonate how important it is, the Chappella upgrade and people actually being able to withdraw when they stake. I think there's a lot of good things. I mean, I still feel like if you're in it for the price, if you're in it for a trade, even if you view it as a 5 or 10 year trade, I think Ethereum is a better trade. I do. I think it will capture more beta. It'll be higher, it will have a larger percentage move if we get that true cycle. That doesn't mean I think it's a better or more important asset than Bitcoin. If you said, what do you want to hold if all the bad things in the world that seem to be happening all came to a head, which I think non-zero chance, but very unlikely, I want Bitcoin, right? And so I think it was Yusko that referred to Bitcoin as schmuck insurance on my show, but I really love that because it is. So I want to hold some of this because I don't trust any of these guys, and I think that will resonate with a lot of people. So I do think that Bitcoin will capture a ton of the narrative in the next cycle. But I think it's more important to remind people that there will be a next cycle, right? In this moment, people love to say it'll never happen again. It's all going to zero. It's going to get regulated away. There will be another cycle. And all those people, like we joked earlier, will buy at 69,000 because it's breaking the all-time high and they're starting to pay attention again. That's how this works.
I mean, I was speaking yesterday to one of the world's biggest crypto hedge funds, and it's also one of the world's biggest hedge funds. And I'm like, how are you thinking about the market now? And I've been bullish for quite a while now, very, very bullish. And they're like, we think there's another shoe to drop. I'm like, we haven't had max panic. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Yeah.
I'm like, I can't, ETH didn't make a new low in October. Right, when
not even close.
FTX blew up.
Not even close. It was 25% above. It didn't even break 1,000, right? Maybe 990 at some point. I don't think they broke 1,000, and the lows from July were like 800.
Yeah, so I'm like, what else could you throw at the market that creates anything but a short-term blip? I mean, we've had Gensler go all-out war. Everybody's got a lawsuit. Half the exchanges in the world went bust. The other half were scams. So what's left?
And FTX, it was a bad moment, but that entire move was retraced in 2 months, right? People said FTX is too big, it's over for crypto. It took 2 months for price to return to where it was. That to me was the ultimate indicator of increasing strength and just tremendous demand. And I still think we have it. Listen, there's a couple things people point to that could be the shoe to drop. Binance. I don't think it would matter much more than FTX, to be quite honest. I think it would be a temporary blip, like you said, maybe 3 months instead of 2 months this time. A lot of people pointing at DCG, and Grayscale, but I like to remind them that Genesis is already bankrupt and price didn't even move when that happened. Not an inch, right? The United States government announced that they have 50,000 Bitcoin from Silk Road that they're selling, and they had already sold 10,000, and nobody even knew that they had done that in one day. I mean, to me, there's just demand. There's just tremendous demand, and whatever is being thrown at the market is being absorbed. And that's very clear. If you look at the huge wallets, specifically with Bitcoin, guys who have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 Bitcoin are buying and buying and buying and not selling anything. And they did sell on the way down. So I joke, you could just fall on your head and look at the 4-year cycle, pull out a historic chart, mark the halving, mark the bottoms after the halving, mark the next halving, fall on your head, go into a coma, ignore all the macro and everything we've seen and the money printing, and we're just right in the middle of another cycle. We are. And there's going to be a halving next year. And 3 to 6 months after that, Bitcoin's going to go crazy and people are going to go, wow, man, that was really obvious. And then everyone on Twitter is going to claim that they bought at 15,000. I think with all the collapse, and certainly after FTX, it was just very hard to answer the questions from everyone. It was very hard to defend the industry. It felt like a lot of the things that they had said were true, right? And it was hard not to take it to heart. I had Sam on my show 10 times, probably. I was fooled, and so maybe it was embarrassment more than anything else. But then, once you sort of get over that and all of the attacks and nonsense, I think it goes back to all of the core use cases that we sort of saw bubbling in the last cycle that just weren't mature enough yet. So I'm very excited about NFTs, but less about PFPs, right? Less about the cartoons and more about the utility, right? I'm excited to actually see a AAA game come to the crypto space and not just Axie Infinity, right? Axie Infinity to me was an incredible litmus test for what was possible in gaming
it's CryptoPunks.
Right, because it was a crap game. It was really difficult to play. You had to, buy ETH on an exchange, send it to MetaMask, Ronin wallet, learn how. But grandmothers in the Philippines found a way because there was incentive to do it. So if they can figure it out and do it, imagine when we abstract away all of that complexity and give someone a game that's actually fun, right? So I think gaming I still think that's going to be absolutely massive. DeFi will be massive, just maybe not in the United States, sadly, right? I think collateralizing Bitcoin, I know that people think now it's a horrible idea because of all the terrible things that happened, but I think that it's pristine collateral in theory, if it can be done right without putting yourself at tremendous risk. I think tokenizing assets and turning those into collateral in a more efficient manner without third parties in between could work exceptionally well. And I think that the story that people forget about all the embarrassment of centralized finance, DeFi collapsing, is that DeFi pretty much was fine, right? I mean, we certainly had exploits and hacks and wormholes and bridges and all these things that went wrong, but the margin was, the collateral was there, It was liquidated in an orderly manner. The protocols worked, smart contracts functioned, and imagine when that matures. And I think that is happening. So, we had DeFi summer, we had NFT summer, we had metaverse fall. I think all of those things will find massive winning use cases that, are based on blockchain. We just need to wait. I just don't think it happens in 6 months. And I think that we've gotten so used to, because of price, which you mentioned, so used to price going up so fast that it's hard to remember that it's only been a few years, and these things take time. It's hard to say, in 10 years we'll have a AAA game, but maybe it's 3 or 5 years.
And I wish, and I think it will happen this time around, I wish the space would not focus on leverage and the use of leverage. When you've got an 80% volatile asset, leverage gets blown up. Sure, you can use it as collateral, but lend me 1 time or 2 times. But don't lend me... I mean, but this is the problem.
Over-collateralized loan on a volatile asset, for sure.
Yeah. The industry wants to build leverage at every point because as soon as the market goes up, everyone gets greedier and greedier and greedier. And that's what blows everybody up every time.
Yeah, because it's a gratuitous opportunity for someone with a lot of money and who understands the market to just short it and take advantage of all of that. And so we have this tremendous, it's an 80 vol asset, because it was nascent and small, but it's also an 80 vol asset because it's 100x leveraged and easy to move. Right. And the problem now, humans are just making the same mistakes again. Right. You would have loved to say after Luna and after all that, well, we're not going to do that again. Yeah. Give me a break. Right. Maybe people will use 125 instead of 150x, but it is just, we keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. But this time there's a lot less liquidity right now because the banking rails have been cut. And so if you look at the volumes on exchanges, they're tremendously low. Right. Now, I think that's bullish long term. It means people are actually removing supply from the exchanges, but it's really easy to move this asset class right now. It's just tremendously easy. Slippage on Coinbase is historically high. I mean, I think Uniswap has more volume than Coinbase right now, which is pretty mind-blowing. So I just think that we're going to need a lot bigger money and a lot bigger players in the market, which will inevitably happen, to sort of eliminate that side of it, where you just can't push the market around because everyone's 100x leveraged.
With a captivating perspective on the forthcoming crypto bull market cycle, both Raoul and Scott provide compelling insights. It's evident that anticipation is building as Bitcoin and Ethereum defy negative news and absorb any new supply entering the market. Raoul sheds light on Ethereum's diminishing supply and its potential for a significant price surge. Meanwhile, Bitcoin continues to exhibit its enduring strength as schmuck insurance, further solidifying its narrative. These significant narratives will serve as fuel for the next bull market cycle. The majority of investors were first exposed to crypto and the Web3 space during the 2021 bull market cycle. As soon as a news cycle becomes apparent, these investors will eagerly re-enter the space. However, both Scott and Raoul concur that this cycle is more than just about price points and financial gains. It represents the future of finance, the emergence of DeFi, the growing significance of NFTs, and the thrilling possibilities of the metaverse. These elements collectively shape the foundation of the exponential age and are bound to enhance global productivity and output. For more Daily Dose Crypto news, check out these 2 awesome videos on your screen. Click now and we will see you on the next video.